Hello, Eurovision friends. Thank you so much for coming to my channel, back to my channel, I'm guessing, Eurovision Histories, for another video on one of the songs that was chosen last night, our first Super Saturday. In this video, I will talk about the Ukrainian entry for Eurovision 2025, which is Ziferblat. I'm guessing it's pronounced Ziferblat in German. Bird of Prey is their song, and they will be flying the Ukrainian colors in Basel. As per usual, I will give you my honest opinion on the different elements of the songs, giving points from 1 to 5. Then I will also try to predict how Ukraine will do with this song in Eurovision 2025. And we'll also have a look at your votes and comments. And like in the Slovenian video, I want to look at your votes first, because I was quite surprised to see a Ukrainian entry get such low ratings. Only 14% gave it 5 points, 18% 4 points, and 34% 3, and then 35% 1 or 2 stars. And we shall see whether I agree with that kind of very mixed opinion on the Ukrainian entry, or whether I like it more than you guys. We'll also look at some of your comments later on. If you want to participate in these votes, you got to subscribe to the channel, and then you will see the polls popping up in your YouTube feed. Okay. I always start with the lyrics, and the main motif here is obviously the bird. You can see it in the title as well. He sings at the beginning in Ukrainian, "Come to me, my bird, a difficult song flies away with you," is what I could gather from the Google Translate translation. And then in English, "And I call you, fly bird, I'm begging you, please just live and share." And they have said that this is a song about loved ones being separated, which obviously is something that a lot of Ukrainians can very much relate to, but also other people who have maybe left their hometown for various different reasons. And I like this symbolism of the bird, because when he sings, "I'm begging you, please just live and share," the bird for me is the connection between the person who lives maybe in another country and the loved ones. So a very brittle and difficult connection to maintain. And the bird is kind of flying in between these two places to try to keep them connected. I really like that. A bird can obviously also symbolize freedom, because he can fly wherever he wants. And they also mention that in the lyrics, a migratory bird obviously goes somewhere else, but then always comes back to the place where it was born. So I quite like this message. And I also like how the different languages connect to this. When the bird, let's say, is in Ukraine, it sings in Ukrainian, and with this wide voice kind of vocal technique that is very traditional to Ukraine. And then when it's abroad, it sings in English, more of a 70s British psychedelic style, so to speak. So you have the connection to the world, but also the connection to roots and tradition. And I quite like that. So I do like the lyrics. The criticism I would have a little bit is the bird symbolism is not the newest and most unique way to express this. And also in the English lyrics especially, it feels a bit clumsy sometimes, the way they try to transmit this message. And so in the end, I gave 3.5 out of 5 points for the lyrics, also because we have a few other songs that have even better lyrics than this one. Now, for the voices, in this case, you have many different vocal elements in this song. You have the female singer at the beginning and throughout the song, with the very high key that she sings. I think she symbolizes the bird. She does that very well. Him, for the more international parts, when he sings in English, it sounds like a progressive rock song. And then you also have the white voice that he also joins in, which is very traditional, very Ukrainian. And I love white voice every single time I hear it. It's a hard word to say for me, or hard words, but they do all of it very well. The only thing I have a bit of a problem with is that I don't personally, and this is my personal opinion, I personally don't really like his vocal tone 100%. And also the higher female voices is something that I am not always very much into. And so in the end, I gave 4 out of 5 points, because I do recognize the vocal technique that goes into it. And I love the white voice as well. But, you know, the vocal tone is not my kind of thing. For the performance, I do think that he's very, very charismatic. I just think that throughout this song, his whole way of performing, his facial expressions, and everything else stays quite monotonous and the same, basically. And I would like a bit more change when the song, the melody, the vocal techniques also change. That should be reflected, I mean, according to my opinion at least, in the way he performs it as well, but still quite a charismatic performer. And so in the end, I gave 3.5 out of 5 points for the performance. Now, for the staging, I love the colors and the outfits. It all looks very 70s and very much in keeping with the sound of the band and the song. I am not sure about this fake garden that they have around them. It feels a bit plastic, and I understand that it's supposed to relate, I guess, to the theme of the bird in the song, but I could come up with other better stagings for this song, so I don't quite like that. It gives me some Michelin vibes, the Italian singer who had something similar at Eurovision, and it didn't quite work. I like, however, the Ukrainian colors in the background coming in certain parts of the song, so that's cool. But the whole plastic garden thing looks a bit cheap to me, and they could come up with something better. I'm quite sure Ukraine knows how to do stagings at Eurovision, that they will come up with something better. And then another thing is, it seems very, very static. Like the backing singers are very static, and maybe the theme of the song could be symbolized more if, for example, when they sing Ukrainian, they all come together around him and surround him like a family. And then when he sings English, they go out. They don't really sing during that part anyway. So that could symbolize this being connected to your loved ones at home, but also being lonely in your country, the other country that you're in abroad. And also the band could move around a little bit more. Maybe this was because of the stage in the national final. They couldn't really do that, but I would like a bit less static, a bit of a less static staging for this. And so I think there was a lot of potential for improvement. And so I only gave it 2 out of 5 points at the moment. Now, for the song, we saw your votes from the community tab of my channel. I do understand that this can feel disjointed. There are so many changes in the song. Some people have said that they don't really hear a melody in this and that it's quite jarring for them. I mean, the white voice is something that people aren't all that used to, his vocal tone, her vocal tone as well. So I kind of understand it. But I also think personally, it's very catchy to me, like this fly, bird, these sustained long notes during the chorus that just is stuck in my head. And I just think it's a very cool combination of folk, of progressive rock, of all these different things. It's like Go A thrown in with a British band from the 70s, something like that. And I do think it's quite catchy. It's not the kind of song that I would listen to every day, all day long. So in the end, I gave 3.5 out of 5 points, but I do appreciate it more than most of my subscribers, apparently. So the song counts 3 times, the staging counts twice, and it gives us an overall rating of 3 out of 5 stars for the Ukrainian entry by Ziferblat. Now, before I tell you my prediction for Ukraine, do subscribe to this channel. Only a third of you are, and lots more videos like this one are coming up. So if you don't want to miss that, you gotta subscribe. And also to participate in the votes, as I have said, in the community tab of my channel. Now, for my prediction, I always look at which semifinal the country will compete in. And for Ukraine, it is semifinal 1, which on paper is the stronger semifinal. They're also in the first half, which would speak against them. However, when we look at the historic qualification record, they have qualified every single time. No matter what they sent, they qualified. They won twice in the last couple of years as well, in the last few years, I should say. And I mean, qualification is kind of a given, I think. This will get a huge televote, as Ukraine usually does. In the final, I also think that this will get a very healthy televote. However, I don't think it will be as big a televote as we've seen for Ukrainian entries in the last 3 years. So I'm predicting 6th to 15th place. It is a very specific sound and a very specific genre or mix of genres that maybe a few people will be turned off by and might not vote for it. And I feel like The same might be true for the juries. I think they will appreciate the vocal control that all of the singers in this have, but these kinds of traditional elements and national language elements is not something that the juries usually go for. But I'm predicting like 10th to 20th for the jury. Very big range because I'm not quite sure at the moment where this will go with the juries. And that gives us an overall prediction of 9th to 15th. It could be a lower top 10 result if they improve the staging a lot, which Ukraine has done a lot of times in the past. That is my prediction. If you have a different one, do let me know in the comments and we can talk about it and discuss it. Now let's have a look at your votes again. So I gave it 3 points, so I'm kind of in keeping with you more or less, but 35% still gave it only 1 or 2 stars. Now let's have a look at some of your comments. Jeanne says the most professionally composed song so far, pure quality. Fluffy says it's like if Go A and Joker Out had a beautiful prog rock baby, and I am absolutely here for it. So you can see the people that like it really like it, and in Eurovision you can't really vote against an entry, so maybe that will help it, and maybe my prediction is a bit low in that case. Fulan says it's not necessarily bad, but there were certainly better options. The staging is kind of cool, but I don't even remember how the song goes. I don't know if it'll grow on me like Germ, but that's just my opinion. Yes, it's also just my opinion, by the way. I'm not an expert at all. And then Sal says, very disappointing. This song doesn't have any power and it's very boring. Okay. To be honest, I think that this song is potentially the first non-qualifier song for Ukraine. If it will qualify, I would say 17 to 26 in the final. I do believe that this will qualify. Dalia Lam says, I don't get the negativity towards this song at all. I think the staging definitely needs improving. I agree with that. But the song itself is one of the most beautiful and is of the season so far, my second favorite after Albania, which it might still overtake, and my favorite Ukrainian entry since at least Stefania. Thank you so much for your comments. Do let me know in the comments for this video as well how you feel about the song, what you predict will happen to the song in Eurovision. Do subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one. And if you do subscribe, I'll see you for my next one. See you then and bye bye.